Good evening and salam. My name's Hajra Mubashir and I am a member of the MACFEST team. Welcome all and thank you for joining us from wherever you are in the world for this exciting workshop introducing you to the basics of calligraphy. Our panel is honoured to be hosted tonight by Ed Watts. I'm going to share a few words about Ed. So Ed Watts is the head of civic engagement and education at the Whitworth Art Gallery, part of the University of Manchester, leading the gallery's dynamic civic engagement and education team who work with audiences across health, social care, volunteering and education sectors, seeking to work in new ways and extend reach to the most diverse audiences. Before I hand over to Ed, I would like the audience to please follow MACFEST on social media. That's our Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, so you're informed of our next events. Thank you, and over to you, Ed.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. As it's been said, I'm Ed Watts. I'm the head of civic engagement and education at the Whitworth, which is Manchester's gallery in the park and part of the University of Manchester. The Whitworth was founded in 1889 and was established to share the world's leading art and culture from across the globe to the working people of the city. And now we have nearly 60,000 works in our collection and continue to share that with the people of Manchester and beyond. Together, we use art for positive social change. We aim to transform the way that art is experienced and used by using art as a tool to open up conversation, to generate empathy, and actively address what matters in people's lives here and now. So with that in mind, I'm delighted to be invited to be part of today's event. In previous years, we've welcomed everyone involved to the gallery, and though sadly this is not possible this year, I wanted to join online to just show and give the Whitworth's full support to MACFEST as a long-term partner of the gallery. And I really want to congratulate Qaisra and the whole team for their innovation and perseverance for successfully taking what is an amazing festival programme online this year. It's an amazing achievement, but that being said, I really can't wait to welcome you all back to the gallery as soon as we can for workshops and events such as this. Samir, I particularly hope we can get to welcome you back to the Whitworth in the future to run an in-person version of this session, but until then, I'm really excited to see what you've got lined up for us digitally this evening. Just a bit of introduction about our artist this evening. So Samir Malik is an artist, calligrapher, designer, photographer, and coach. Having studied Islamic calligraphy in Damascus University, Syria, he is acknowledged as one of the pioneers of current revival and reinvention of the Islamic calligraphy practice in the West. He has exhibited internationally, and his art, designs, and photography have been featured in periodicals and books, along with frequent appearances in television. So, without further ado, I want to hand over to Samir to take us through this evening's workshop. I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ed. It's a great honour to be joining the MACFEST team, and I'm really excited about this evening. So this is my second online workshop I've ever done. I usually do it hands-on, working with inks and with all the materials. But that's not been possible. So I really scratched my head to find out what can we do to make it really easy and accessible for people to work online. And the solution I came up with is one I'll reveal very, very shortly. So I've been practicing calligraphy for about 20 years. And what I want to do is just start. I'm actually going to show it on my iPad. I've got that little presentation. So I'm going to just switch the screen. 1 second. There we are. Okay, now you can see that. All right, so that's an example of my calligraphy that I've developed over the last 20 years. So that what I want to show you is anybody who follows the simple instructions today will be able to create something like that, or even better, much better probably. And it's really straightforward. It's all a matter of knowing the right tools, how to work with it, and then practice. I've been practicing for 20 years, and it took me 10 years before I thought I was good enough to actually do calligraphy for a masjid. And since then, I've been holding workshops, working for big organizations, and working all around the world with amazing people and organizations. And so what I'm going to do is start off basically showing you, typically, we would use a bamboo reed pen, which most of you probably have seen if you're interested in calligraphy. And that we can't do today, but those are accessible. You can search online on Amazon, eBay, or if you want, I can actually hand cut some for you and send them through. We'll send information later. But there's actually quite a few different tools you can use. If you notice there, we can see 2 pencils, and that's the tools we're going to use today, because that's what everybody's got at hand at home, some pencils or pens. And so I'd like everyone who's participating to grab 2 pencils if you can, and some rubber band or some sellotape. Okay, so I'm going to actually make that here for you. So I prepared some earlier. 2 pencils. I just stuck together with masking tape, but I'm going to actually use these pens because they're clearer to use. They're just brush pens. So got the brush pens, get a rubber band. I'm sure everyone's got one lying around at home in a drawer somewhere, and just tie the band around until it's quite firm, and then make sure that they're all at the same level roughly. So I was going to give you a few seconds to do that, but while we're doing that, I want to show you classically, this is what we'd use: a bamboo reed pen, hand cut. And if you notice, there's an angle there of 45 degrees. That angle is very, very important. It's not used for all forms of calligraphy, but most of the forms that we experience. You can also get from Turkey these lovely pens. This one's not angled, excuse me, because I chose that not to be angled. You can also, very accessible, use any chisel tip marker. And I'll show you all these. You get Manuscript do a lovely range of chisel tip flexible calligraphy pens, which also have the angled top. Pro marker, available from all good stockists, also have chisel tip. If you search in Google, eBay, or Amazon, or your local retailer, you will find that it's quite easy to access them, and the bamboo reed pens are freely available. So I'm going to start off by sharing something that my teacher shared with me in my first lesson in Damascus 20 years ago. And what she did was she told me something that was so simple that I thought it can't be true, but it actually is true. And what she said to me was, if you can do this, let me get back here, sorry. That if you can make a dot or a nukta in Arabic calligraphy using a pen, you can do anything in Arabic calligraphy. Yeah, you can do, I've done Surah Rahman, I think 78 ayahs in a masjid over 180 feet, using just a nukta as the foundation, and it's worked out really, really well. So the way we're going to do it, so this is the direction of the page is that way, just so we know. So that's the top, that's the bottom. What I want you to do, get your pens, make sure they're level. Works better with tape, but because the rubber bands move. Now I want you to put it, if that's the line, I want you to put it one pencil there, one pencil at 45 degrees, and then just make a square. Now, my first homework in Damascus was to do 3,000 dots like this, 3,000 alifs and 3,000 bars. I'll get to those letters afterwards. And I looked at my teacher like incredulous, like, what do you mean 3,000? Is my hand going to fall off, or do I have to buy more ink? I had to buy more ink, and I did, like a good student, 3,000 not dots, 3,000 alifs, and 3,000 bars. And when I got back and showed her my homework, she pointed out about 15 alifs that were good, about 30 dots, and about 20 bars that were good. And I was very disappointed, because I thought, out of 3,000, that's not a very good score. But she explained to me that those dots, those alifs, those bars that I'd done that were good, what she meant was that they were good enough for a master calligrapher who spent his entire life practicing his art. So having those in my homework showed her that I am capable of actually becoming a master calligrapher. And I just thank her up to this day for that great lesson, because it's turned out to be true. I do work for the Saudi embassy, the Bahrain embassy. I've done work for royalty. The Queen owns my calligraphies, and royalty around the world is hanging everywhere. And it's all thanks to being able to do those dots and practice. And I know if I can do it, anybody can do it. So what I'm going to show you now, if you've made a dot, if you do this wrong, what I forgot to say was I have some rules in my workshops. First rule is have fun and breathe. If you find yourself taking it too seriously, just put the pen down, take a breath, and just smile, and then come back to the page. Second rule is make mistakes. We're going to make lots of mistakes, and that's how we learn. We know that, but I'm just reminding you. And the third is ask questions. So if you have any questions, please do post in the chat. Okay, so we got 2 dots here. What I want you to do, I'm using just one pen to join the dots. I want you to make this pattern. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do 3,000 of them. Don't worry. But what I'd like you to do was try and fill up a page with dots. Because if you can do the dot really well, you'll be able to do anything. So just practice that for a minute. Just doing dots like that. Doing them really badly, that's fine. We will have to start somewhere. So I want you to make dots. I'm using pen rather than pencil because it's clearer when it comes, to show on the video. And you must excuse my voice. I had a cold and a bad cough recently, and my voice has gone a bit. Well, gone a bit, yeah. It's left us a little bit, but it will come back, I've been assured. So practice that for a minute and post any questions you may have. See, my dots aren't perfect. I'll just, as you're practicing that, I'll show you with a qalam, with a bamboo reed pen. If you order a kit from me, you'll get an ink pot with silk noil inside. The silk noil helps you to soak up the ink into the pen. And the same way, make a dot. Now, some of you will be better than me at this, and some of you will be terrible, and that's fine. Yeah, because we're all learning. So what I'd like you to do is just trust the process, because I want to show you in a second how, if you can do a dot really well, you can do anything in calligraphy. So let's get a fresh sheet. Sorry, just getting the right page. There we are. Okay, here we are. So if you can see that, everything in calligraphy is based upon the dots. Everything. So if you can see the alif there, the A in Arabic, in this form of calligraphy, this script, it's 5 dots deep. The ba, the B in Arabic, is 5 dots wide on the inside. So what this is showing, everything, so if you see the alif and the kaf, they both have the same size. So that's why when people look at Arabic calligraphy, there's dimensions within there that the heart can sense, I like to think, and the eyes can almost see, but that makes sense on a deep, deep level, because everything follows a certain pattern. Everything follows a certain form, and every letter within there follows the dots. So I'm going to show you now how to do alif. So I'll do a dot like this, but put the pen as if I'm going to do a dot. Instead of going that way, I'm going to go straight down. And one tip here, don't use your wrist, use your elbow. So use your elbow to go straight down. And then you've got an alif. That alif should be one. It's a bit short, that one. 4 dots. What I'd like you to do is make the alif 5 dots. So put the pen down as if you're going to do a dot. So you've got the 45-degree angle. Okay. And instead of going that way, you go straight down with your elbow. And there we've got an alif. So you can practice that. And if you're really into it, you can try it out 3,000 times and send me a scan. I'm happy to let you know how you can improve or acknowledge what's well done. Now that's the alif, so it's 5 dots. 5 dots deep. Yeah. Now the ba, same action. You start at a 45-degree angle. Yeah. And you do a dot and half a dot. So we got 1.5 dots. The 1 dot's there, so that's 1.5. Okay. And then going back to where we left off. And then we got a ba. So if you can do a dot really well, you can do a ba really well. Now, one thing that I did very, very often when I was learning, and everybody does, there's very few who actually have this mastered in the beginning, is keeping that angle. What happens a lot is people will do the ba like this, yeah, or the alif like this. But what you got to do is keep that angle so that the distance between the 2 points in the pen stays the same. The pen always stays at that angle. So using the qalam, I put the pen down as if I'm going to do a dot. Using my elbow, I do a ba. Oh, alif, sorry. So there's a dot, and then carry on a little bit. You might hear, I don't know if you can hear this, it's like a scratching sound as I do that, because I'm pressing the pen quite hard into the paper to do that again. And what we do is you fill the bits in. Now, when I was studying in Damascus, I had an amazing opportunity to meet some master calligraphers, and I was so excited. And so I went down to their workshop, and we watched them squirreling away, creating beautiful works of art. And I got really upset because what I saw was that when they do a letter, parts of it would get lost. And what they do is they take the pen and color in. Now, if you see master calligraphers doing this, excuse me, You'll notice that. Now, when I saw that, I just thought, hey, wait a second. They got the form ready, they penciled it all in, because all the big calligraphies are always penciled in first. And what they're basically doing is coloring in. Now, I've been coloring in since I was 5. One of the first things I learned at school was coloring in. And so I just thought, why are these guys masters when all they're doing is something I've been doing, for so many years? And I realized that that's the way it is. I've seen many master calligraphers since then. And what I've noticed, most of them will color in. So if you're using your pens or your pencils, do an aleph, sorry, a bar. So 1.5 dots, keep the angle, and then you can color. I'm coloring it very roughly here, brush pens. Okay, so any questions turn up, please, post to the chat. So what I'm going to do, if you got the ba, you can do the ta as well. So the next letter I'm going to move on to is the ha. So the ha, you start off the same 45-degree angle, and you don't go down, you don't go across, you don't go down, you go that way. Whoops, daisy. Sorry. There we are. Yeah, until it's 5 dots. 5. Yeah. So you make basically, you got that 45-degree angle there and there. And you start again at that point, and you follow that 45-degree angle. And you got a ha. And now I'm going to show you something, because people are already wondering, how far down do you go? How far across do you go? I want to show you 2 things, actually. For those who are really, really interested to pursue this, there's an amazing book available from Amazon and from the British Museum called Arabic Calligraphy, Nashk for Beginners. So what it does, it shows you, it's a very, very amazing book. Yeah, I love it. I love its simplicity. It teaches you how to cut the pen, and it goes through, the letters. So all the letters are there, and it shows you, for example, with the dal here, it will show you 1 and 2. So the first stroke goes, down, and the second stroke goes across. Well, let's look at another one. The meme. People who struggle with the meme. It shows you the first stroke is the head, then you go down, looking there, and from there, keeping that same angle, you go down. And what this actually shows you is the amount of dots. So when you practice, it's very, very, very straightforward. Yeah, so this is called Arabic Calligraphy, Nash for Beginners. And I'd recommend, if you're really, really interested, get this book. It's not expensive. I think it's £6 on Amazon. And you also got the practice. It shows you how the different forms of the letters, once you've mastered a little bit, shows you words you can practice to join the words up. And it also has beautiful works of art, none from me, but there's classical calligraphies for you to practice with as well. Okay, so what I want to show you, where's my pen? There we are. Okay, I spoke of the dots. Now, what I'd like you to do before you really get into the hair is do 5 dots in a line going down.
Samir, I've got a question.
Sure.
Yes, this is from Sue. She's saying, how do you do it in Arabic cursive?
Arabic cursive, cursive would be, depends on what style you use, the different scripts. So the cursive would be an absolute different script. And there are books and YouTube videos available online, and to actually learn that. But it's a matter of practicing. So, for example, this is Nashk. If I was going to do a script called Thuluth, which you mostly see in masjids, I'd do it 7 dots deep. So the alif goes 7 dots deep,
Okay.
and from there you'd have it like that. But cursive is more the different scripts. So there's also wonderful scripts like Divani and the African scripts. I'm doing a piece right now using the Maghreb. It's called Maghrebi, which are very, very curvaceous, shall we say.
Okay.
And those are very, very good. But they could be seen as cursive as well. But if you want to explore, then I'd say Google Arabic scripts and have a look and see.
Okay.
What happens often in when people are doing masjids, they do one script for the main. If they're doing like a part of the Quran, a chapter of the Quran, they do that in one script, and then they'll have some decoration with another part of the Quran, which they'll use a different script for that, so it appears more cursive. But it is the different styles. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Sue?
I hope so.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah. Let us know.
So somebody else is asking for the name of the book that you showed earlier. So we'll
Sure.
get in the chat.
Yeah. So
This is
sorry,
what
let
it's
me just
called.
get this.
So somebody, Hajra, please write this down. The British Museum Arabic Calligraphy Naqsh Script for Beginners.
Yeah. And if you search in Amazon for Arabic calligraphy, that comes up as one of the top results straight away.
Amazon,
And you'll recognize.
Yeah, Amazon Calligraphy. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's where I order it from. I get it for students, quite often. And it's lovely. It's a beautiful book. Very, very simple, straightforward. So what I want to show you, if we're doing 5 dots, and what I'd like you to do is do five dots across. Now, this circle you can draw around there, whoops daisy, every letter you do will fit into that circle. So for example, if I do the wow, or the ha,
Wow, that is amazing.
or the ya, everyone says what ya won't fit. So every letter will fit inside that circle. So that's what I want you to attempt to do. That's why the dots are so important. As you can see, I'm going to show you, like for example, there's the wow. So there's two dots across the head, 2 dots deep, and then there's 1 dot until the curve starts, and that's 4 dots across. So it all fits within the 5 dots. Let's see, let's go back. There we are. So you can see everything fits within the 5 dots. So we've done the alif and ba. Sorry, yes.
This is the Arabic alphabet. People.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have the ha. So let's practice the ha. Now, if you get that book, it will show you. There's a little bit he says in the beginning to do, but what I'm not doing that right now because I want to keep it as simple as possible. So, so ha, 45-degree angle. Yeah. Now there's a couple of letters that break the rules slightly, and I'll get to them. But the next letter I want to show you is dal, D. So dal, same 45-degree angle. They all start there. So you go up slightly, do 3 dots from there, and then you got your dal. Well, not the kind you eat, but the kind you appreciate as a letter. So I'll do that again. And then from the same point, I'll show that with the bamboo reed pen. Get the ink. Oops, daisy. Excuse me. Okay, so doing the hair, same 45-degree angle. Same 45-degree angle. And what they do a lot of the time, what I do, is re-ink a lot if you're using inks. There we are. And showing the dial.
Mashallah, so neat, Samir.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 20 years. So,
Of course.
yeah, if I wasn't good by now, I'd have to get another job.
Okay. Right. This question I can ask if you don't
Yeah,
mind. What's the
sure.
difference between calligraphy in Arabic and with other languages, Urdu or Persian, for example?
It's right to left. But Urdu and Persian, there's different scripts. The difference between like the Hebrew, Urdu, Persian, and Arabic is right to left, which we know. And so if there's anybody who's left-handed here, it's actually easier if you're left-handed because you don't smudge the calligraphy as you go through. But the difference is just different. Yeah, it's like people experimented and created scripts that were standardized then so everybody could follow, because a lot of it was about copying. Because as Islam spread, people built masjids and wrote the Qurans. They wanted everybody, regardless of where we were from or where we lived, to be able to read the Quran. So all the scripts were then standardized, and that's what happened. So, for example, in the European or the Germanic scripts as well, there's some standard scripts that are used that people learn and have learnt over the centuries that have become standard and are used in certain scenarios or with certain purposes. So it's mainly that it's this style of script used.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Another question for the left-handed people. Does the
Yes.
slant of the qalam mean the pen, need to be the other way around for the left-handed people?
No. I'm very, very bad with my left hand. I'm not ambidextrous. I'm not that talented. I'm gonna take my left hand. I can't even hold it properly. So put it there. I got to press hard. Oops, daisy. See how bad I am? I'm terrible. See, I told you. But there's a dot. So it's the same angle. It's always the same angle. Always the same angle that comes through.
Right.
So, yes.
Why is calligraphy an art? What are the benefits of it?
Okay, why is it an art? It actually just means beautiful writing. So it's something that you refine, you develop, you learn and refine over many, many years to do something beautiful. So, for example, I've done wedding invitations, I've done certificates, I've done loads of different things, and you have to make it look beautiful, and that making it look beautiful is something that we could call art. Maybe it's not simply writing.
That's right.
And what was the second part of the question? Sorry.
What are the benefits of it?
Oh God.
I mean, imagine all those mosques with calligraphy writing.
Yeah, true. Main benefit is it's so peaceful and so calming that I love it. So I'm very, very relaxed all day. People, sometimes get upset with me because I'm so relaxed all the time. It's a beautiful thing to just like meditate on. Somebody sent me an email a year ago saying, why have I written Allah so many times? And my reply was, because I'm still trying to develop my relationship to God. I have certain ideas, but when I write Allah, for example, I mean, I'll write to him the way I write it, the way I developed to write it. There's the alif. So I'm going to break a few rules when I do this, but this is because I've been doing it for so many years. So there's alif. And then my reply was, because I'm still trying to find out, who God is for me in my life. And that's so for me it's a form of meditation. So for example, writing Allah like that.
Okay, right. Listen, sorry, we are interrupting you, but these lovely questions keep coming.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
She says, can you write Ramadan in Arabic calligraphy? Ramadan.
Yeah. Okay. What I'll do, I'll get to some of the other letters, then I'll write it.
Okay, that's that. Yeah, I'll stop the question, let you get on, and then
that's okay. But if good questions come, what I'll do, I'll multitask.
Wonderful, no problem.
Yeah. So now the next letter, the Ra, is one that breaks the rules. So you do a dot and a half, and from there, the same angle, you go down, and you stop there. And what you do is you take the edge of the pen, the tip. Well, I'll just use one of the pens here, and you do the outline. You color it in. So that's what I did when I was studying. They colored it in, and that's one reason why I got upset, because I just thought I can color in, and it's true. If anybody can color in. So that's the dot and a half, and from there going down, and then from that point, you just color in. And if you feel like you're cheating, Baghdadi, actually the most famous current living calligrapher, does it all the time. So don't worry about it. Yeah, if the biggest guy in the world does it, you can do it, coloring in. Now, what I want you to notice is if you notice the blue line, it goes on the left side, but it goes underneath. So it's like what's beautiful. What I love about beautiful calligraphy, Arabic calligraphy especially, is it's like it folds over on itself. So maybe you've seen that. If I do a bar, actually I'm going to use a different pen to show it bigger. I lost it. No, take this one. So this is an automatic pen. It's called. It's from the UK. They're handmade since a few hundred years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the bar. So like that, and it's got a space there for you to see how it crosses over. Now this part here is what fascinates me, because it's like the letter turns over on itself. That part there. Let's use a color. Let's do that again. So I do the dot, and then bring in this point here. Now, if you look at lots of calligraphy, beautiful calligraphies online, you'll notice that fold. Now, calligraphy is part of Islamic art, and Islamic art is a representation in the world, the dunya, of what our eyes can't see, but our hearts can feel. That's why I understand. So because there's folds within folds within folds of amazing calligraphies, it's like your heart can feel the depth and experience that. So beautiful art and beautiful calligraphy is experienced as well as just seen. And that's one thing that's always fascinated me about calligraphy, and what really, really kind of excites me as well, to really kind of keep learning, keep exploring. Sometimes we think we know so much, and then suddenly a new realization will come, and that's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing if we keep on learning. So okay, the next letter I'm going to show you, I'm moving very, very fast, but if you order the kit from me, I'll send practice sheets as well, or if you get hold of the book, or even if you look online and print out an Arabic Nash alphabet sheet, you'll find them. Then it's you can just practice. Now the scene is half a dot. and you go around. Then a dot, you go across. The kit costs, what I'm doing is sending out cost price, so it's £7.50, including postage. That's signed for postage. So include 3 pens, hand cut, same as this, ink that will have a lid on it with the liquor, the silk noil inside, and practice sheets. So carrying on with the scene, we've got the half a dot, 1 dot. You can order it. I'll give up. The questions came through. Where can I order it from? I'll give details. You can just message me or email me or contact me on Facebook or Instagram, and that then I can send the kits out to you. So I'm going to do that again. That scene.
A quick question: how much does the kit cost?
£7.50. Sorry. So that's half a dot. That's 1 dot, and then you go. And if you see the angle is kept the same, if you keep the angle the same, you get points at the end. So if you notice those points that you have, that's always the same angle coming through. Yeah. So that's the scene. Now, so we can get to Ramadan, writing Ramadan. I'm going to do the Sa'd. Now the Sa'd, okay, same 45-degree angle, but you go up, and then 2 dots, all across, yeah, and then from there, Sa'd. So I'll do that again, go up, you can hear the pen creaking on the paper. That's normal. So this part is also shared with tar. So let me do a tar. Same way, go up, down. Now here is where you do the coloring in. And then same, yes.
On Facebook, somebody's asking, where can they purchase this kit from?
Oh, from me. So what I'll do.
Oh, from you?
Yeah, from me, sorry. You can also, what I'm going to do is send out some information afterwards about cutting your own pens, because nothing is better than cutting your own pens, in my opinion. But if you want ready-made kits, then I will cut the pens for you, so you get the pen, the liquor, and the ink, with the lid, and some practice sheets showing you the dots. See, I printed some out earlier. The practice sheets will be like this. So show you. Yeah, and I copied these from that book. So if you buy that book, you probably get a better version. These are mine, but these are, just something I copied from there.
Okay, Sue is in Canada.
Okay, Canada. I can send to Canada, Sue. I just have to work out postage. It should be better now. I sent some stuff to Canada and it got lost for a few weeks because of the whole COVID situation. But I think it's cleared up now. I sent something last week to America and it got there very quickly. Yeah, that should be no problem at all. I can send it signed for to Canada to make sure it gets there securely and can be tracked as it makes its way across the ocean. Yeah, definitely possible. Now, how do you contact me? Somebody's asking.
They could write an email to us, hello@MACFEST, and we will forward your messages.
Perfect. Okay, so write to hello@MACFEST, and I'll get all your messages. Okay, so next I'm going to do the AHN. AHN is another one. AHN is what's the email? Qaisra? It's hello@MACFEST. Is it .org.uk?
Yes, that's right. hello@macfest.org.uk. It's the booking, the place where they book. It's the same email.
Yeah. So the email is the same as where you book.
Yes.
So the aim is also one where you color in. So we're going to do the 45-degree angle, and you go around. So you do the curved shape with it, but this diameter, or the distance between the dots, always stays the same. Okay. Somebody. So yeah, hello@macfest.org.uk is the address. Thank you. All right. So same angle, you come down, just like that. Okay. So you got that, and then what you do is you take one pen and you color that in. That's how you make the ain. So with the ra, the ta, and the ain, you color in. Okay. Now let's just see. I'm going to show you. Now in the book, it shows you the first step. Use the right corner of your neighbor to outline and fill in the crescents. You fill it in. So this part is filled in, so you can see it's clear, and then you do the rest of it. Okay, so that's the aim. So moving swiftly along, let's do the fa, kaf, and wow. Now this is one of my favorites. Yeah, one of my favorite calligraphies I saw was people practicing this, and the practice sheets can be beautiful. Now this is the thing to practice for these three letters. Same 45-degree angle. You go down, up, and round. Now for the wow, like that. For the calf, just a little bit bigger. Yeah, and what's the other letter? Wow, calf, and fa. My mind went blank there for a minute. Sorry. So fa. See. And then, so wow. And funnily enough, that's what all my niece, who's 2 years old, every time she sees my calligraphies, goes, wow. Bless her. All right, so that's the wow. Doing the calf again. Let me get a fresh sheet. Or turn it over. So. Okay, so while we're practicing that, I want to show you some other art. The one on the right reads Salam, peace. It's always something worth writing and practicing. That's from Teekster, one of my fellow artists who's also part of the MACFEST team this year, and he's an amazing artist. I first collaborated with him almost 15 years ago, and he does beautiful work. That's one of his. And this one says zikr, which is remembrance, when we remember God or remember the divine. And that's from a guy called Rul Alam, and Visual Zikr is his company name. So you can see that that's Teekster's own script, and that's the Luth there. But the dots, or the width of the lines, are always the same, and the angles. Whoops a daisy. The angle. Let's grab a pen and show you. So the angle from there is the same. It's always the same. And Teekster has that as well. That angle, the angles are all the same. And there's something that when you practice and you get the angle right and holding the pen right, it really comes out in your calligraphy. So the calligraphies have a really beautiful kind of order to them. It makes sense on a visual level, which is something that the heart reacts to on an emotional level, as well as intellectual level when you think, oh, mashallah, or wow, that's beautiful. And let me show you. That's a poster by Rashad Badoui. And you can see that the lines are all the same length. And that comes from holding the pen at that angle. There's El Cid. If you haven't heard of El Cid, you must Google him. ELSEED. He's done amazing work in the Sahara, in the desert. He's on old buildings, and he's done beautiful work all over the Arab world, and also in London. He did a piece a few years ago. He does beautiful work, and you know, it's when you start getting the rules, when you start being able to get the dot and maintain that angle, then I would recommend you start breaking rules. Don't break rules until you, because what LC did here, what I want to point out, there's an angle here, but he's turned that aleph over on its side to give it more form. So he started breaking rules, and you know, I'm a great fan of breaking rules, but I think with something like this, make sure that you at least master the rules a little bit before you start breaking them. I mean, I used to love going to, I did exhibitions, and the Arab guests would always come to me and say, Yane, it's lovely, it's very, very nice, mashallah. But it's all wrong, because I started breaking rules, and I wore that as a badge of honor that, you know, I'm an artist, not just a calligrapher, that I'm breaking rules. And so it's fine to break rules. You know, we all should break rules once in a while. Here's a piece of mine, and you can see the dot there, but it reads Hajj. And here's a practice sheet, not one of mine. Mine aren't as lovely as this, but you can see the practice sheet, how somebody's filled that up with Noor. It reads light, Noor. And practice the Noor ala Noor. It reads light upon light. You can see how somebody's practiced, and it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's just like, you know, you can experience that on an emotional level if you had that hanging. I love this one as well, and you can see how it's, you know, he's got the lines. They're all the same diameter. The angles are all the same, and then he's used colors to really bring out the calligraphy, which I love. Which, yeah, what you know, I want you all to start doing once you practice a little bit. So we're gonna move along to the next letter. Oops, a daisy. Okay, sorry. So we've done a calf. We're gonna do calf now. So the calf is like the aleph. Yeah, so you have that, and from that point you go across. Yeah, the calf. I'll do that again. In the right angle. And you can hear that screeching, I think, of my pens. Yeah, so that's the calf. Lamb is like let's see, same angle, come down 5 dots. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. So that point where there's a fold in the lettering, which I love. You can see it in the calf there as well, in the calf, there. That's when you hold the pen at the same angle, and don't do what I did 1,000 times when I started, because what people do and what I did was do that, and then, well, that still works, but do you understand what I mean? Okay, that's the lamb. Now we're going to get onto the meme. People always struggle with the meme, and let's see, oops, daisy, what am I doing? Done. Show you the meme there. First step is to do the head. and you go across and down. You have that point there where it crosses over. So start at the same angle. So this is something you got to practice. Is putting the pen there and going up a little bit and then down. We have that in quite a few letters. And then going across. And you can see the fold there, and the fold there. So let me do that again. Up a little bit down. Meme. Now, do that again. Now, if you do this really badly, don't worry. You should have seen out of 3,000, 20 of my bars were good. You can imagine how many were not good and how many were terrible. But, you know, I do this every day as a calligraphy now. And it will take most of you less than 20 years to get to that stage. But here's the meme. Now, we're going to do one that, you know, one letter I love. I love all of them, but this one I love especially. The Noon. Same angle. And you see the crossover point there. So doing a dot, 2.5 dots, and go around. Noon. Noon. Show you that with a calligraphy pen, with a bamboo reed pen. Color that in. It's got a noon. Noon. I'm going to show you the wow again. The head of the wow. If you notice, I'm re-inking a lot, and that's what calligraphers do as well. Wow. Yeah. Now on the practice sheets from the book from the British Museum, the wow is done slightly differently from that point on. So I'll show you. But there's unlimited ways of doing the letters. Color it in on the sheets. Yeah. And what other letters do we have? Yeah, and ha. Okay. Let's do the ya. And the ya, like I showed you earlier, all fits in within a 5x5 grid. So the ya. There. It's like a swan. Okay, and the ha. So thank you for, you know, I'm moving really, really fast. Normally when I do a workshop live, then I go over the letters and go around and check on you all individually. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be able to reach out to you and maybe inspire you and teach you the basics to, yeah, see what comes. You know, that's what excites me more. The only thing I love more than creating art is actually, you know, teaching others. So the ha, 2.5 dots. It's a little bit strange. Looks like a heart. And then start from the point again where now there's another way of doing it. It's probably clearer. 3.5 dots. That looks nicer actually. It all depends on whether it's cursive or not. Yeah. Different styles will have the letters done different ways as well. So I think that covers the letters. If there's any letters I've missed out, please let me know. And what I'll do is I'm going to do Ramadan because somebody asked me to do Ramadan because it's coming up, the holy month where we all remember we're brothers and sisters again. Inshallah.
Thank you, Samir.
So do the Ra and then the Meme. Yeah. I'll do that again underneath. That Meme was a bit too wide. Make it tighter. Ramadan. Okay. So please post it.
Oh, mashallah. Wow. Very nice indeed. Thank you so much, Samir.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. So please post in the chat which letters you want me to show you again. So what I'll do is I'll go through the alphabet again. So I've been doing calligraphy for 20 years. And when I start a calligraphy, the first thing I do is always, after I had my coffee, so my brain's awake, is to practice dots. I'll always do quite a few dots to get, used to the pen, used to the paper, and, so I can let the pen meet the paper and then get out of the way because I've been doing it so many years. But so dots is always okay. So then when we have the alif, so remember, use your elbow. Don't use your wrist. Use your elbow. If you notice, my whole hand, it's like holding the pen firmly, but it's quite relaxed, and all the movement comes from my intention, and also from just letting it flow through me, just from lots and lots of practice. So I'll move this up and do the bear. Okay. Dal. Okay.
Samir, after this, somebody's asked, could you show how you do the non-pointed curves, please?
Non-pointed curves. How do you? I don't understand that. How do you mean non-pointed curves? If they can explain, I'll be happy to show.
Zena, please
wondering.
explain.
Non-pointed curves. Just wondering. Just the curves. Okay. But it's always the trick is always holding the pen at the angle. So that 45-degree angle stays. So if I do a noon, for example, that pen always stays at that angle. So when it goes around, the blue pen is on the left, and as it comes over that fold, it goes underneath. Is that what you meant? Or if you're doing a hair, so let's do it. So this is the curve coming down. And it's a matter of just holding the pen at the angle. Yeah. So if I do a noon, I've done. So curve. So it's a meme. So you go up slightly and then down. And this is a thing. This is practice. I've been doing this almost every day for 20 years. That's why I'm not bad at it. But and then so it goes up a little bit and then 2 dots. Is that what was meant by the curves as well? Or to show the hair again. Let's see. I think it's just a matter of practicing, doing circles. Yeah. And then in the other direction as well. If you practice that with your pen, then you'll get it. And what helps me with the curves, for example, is the grid. So for example, the hair, let's do the top bit first. Now, I know it's going to stay in this circle. So if that makes sense. So it is a matter of practicing. So let's stay to the yeah. I know it's going to stay in that circle. Oh, okay. So the sword is very similar. You start off the same angle, you go up a dot's worth, and then down 3 dots, and then so maybe we're practicing. That is good. And I'll show you with the bamboo pen. Same angle. I start there at that angle, 45 degrees. I go up just a little bit. You can probably hear I'm not on a ship, but it's not creaking. It's actually just the pen on the paper. And then do. Yeah. So any more requests? What other requests? Let's see. So let's do the, yeah, okay, yeah. So let's get a fresh sheet. So it's going to be within this. She's never been in that.
Why? They said something wrong with your stomach, and we're sending you 7-day powder. And then,
So that's 1, 2, 3.
Did you have it's finished?
Is that good? Yeah. You just the 2 dots on me. Good. Let's see. AHN. I want to show you AHN again. Okay. So AHN. Same angle. There's a curve. And then go a little bit further. And then color in. Show that again. Color in. AHN. Okay. And yeah, I can do these quite easily because I've been doing them for so many years. So it's a matter of practice. It is it's that straightforward. So let's see. Any questions about calligraphy, about me, about doing letters? Please just write in the chat. I'm going to show you noon again. Same angle. Yeah. So it's, and when you practice enough, all the letters look the same when you do them again and again and again. And that's what also makes calligraphies that you see around as works of art very, very beautiful, because there's an order there. There's some kind of structure that you recognize. And yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with calligraphy? Where did the interest come? A little bit of that journey.
Sure. Sure. So I studied when I was young. I wanted to be an artist. I was so desperate to be an artist. I used to buy all paints from W.H. Smith's and stink up the whole house with oil colors and everything. And one day I came home and my art gear wasn't there. My bag with all my art stuff, all my canvases were gone. And I asked my mum, and she said, "Ask your dad." So I asked my father, and he said, "Oh, my son will be a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant. He won't be an artist." So I was banned from being an artist. So that made me want to do it even more. But I actually studied medicine, osteopathic medicine. I worked as an osteopath. And I taught osteopathic medicine and philosophy of medicine around Europe, mainly in Germany and England and Spain and Austria for many, many years, until 10 years after qualifying. I decided that I want to do what I want to do. So I gave up my practice and moved to Damascus and enrolled in a course in calligraphy at the university. And from my first lesson, I thought, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I loved it so much. For me, it was like a duck taking to water. It was just like so natural. And I was very, very bad at it, but I loved it. I thought, this is, it feels so good. It was like my heart was settled, my mind was still. And so, so I've been doing it ever since. And my teacher asked me when I finished, what do you want to do when you finish? And I said, I want to go out there and change calligraphy in the world forever and make it accessible to everybody and make it fun. And that's been my mission for the last 20 years. So I've taught everywhere. I've worked with some of the biggest organizations in the world, embassies, with hospital trusts, everything. And I think part of it is because I've been around for 20 years, people know me and say, okay, Samir, he's still there. Everybody else has gone on to do something else. But because I'm still there, people choose me and call me. And normally pre-COVID and inshallah post-COVID, I was very, very busy doing lots of events and calligraphy demonstrations for different organizations, embassies. And it's what I love. But I teach actively as well. I used to give lots of workshops. So thank you, Qaisra and the MACFEST team, because it's lovely to be able to show others how to do it as well.
You're welcome. So Samir, we've got about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So whatever you need to do next, you can. And if any questions come our way, I will pass them to you.
Okay. So I was going to see, now if you look, these are practice sheets for the Hagia Sophia that somebody did. Now, if you look very close, you can see where the pen overlaps, where it curves, where excuse me, my cough or my cold is still there a little bit. Excuse me, forgive me for that. You can see where it all overlaps. And that's what I find really, really exciting, because it gives the calligraphy like a three-dimensional form where you can look into it, through it, beyond it, and and when you do Allah, for example, let's move that along. You can see how here as well, somebody's colored in that edge there, colored in the point there. So don't be afraid of coloring in. Don't be afraid of it's fine. That's how the big guys do it. Okay, so what we can do, if there's we can practice love and peace. Let me get this here. So I'll show you love, because some say money makes the world go round, but I think it's love and peace. So I'll show you love.
Can you point to the audience which one's which two words?
Sorry, yeah, that one that says al-hub, which is love, and that's salam, which is peace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Qaisra. Now, same angle. A bit tight in there, but you get the idea. And I'll do peace as well. So same angle coming through. You have the salam. Yes, somebody mentioned about the kids workshop last week. It's very quiet in the chat. In the kids workshop, we were having almost 100 messages every second.
Yes, I know, they kept coming and coming.
That's great.
Adults and children.
Lovely. They were really excited. Yeah, I know that from school when I teach using Teams. The chat would go in directions that I didn't even imagine it would go in sometimes, and I had to bring everybody back to the class. With kids and chats is like me with calligraphy, like a duck taking to water. So practice this. Al-hub, love and peace. Okay, questions, chat, ask me. Oh, wow. You want me to go wow or okay? If that was a request for a wow, I'll do it at the top. Yeah, wow. So practice that and ask questions, please. Now, if you want the calligraphy pack, if you have any questions, then please email MACFEST. It's info@macfest.org.uk. That email address was in the chat. Oh, hello@macfest.org.uk. That's even better. Sorry. So just say hello and ask your question. If you want a calligraphy pack, yeah, just let me know. And yeah, al-hub wa salam. Exactly.
Looks lovely. Thank you, Samir.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. It's a real honor.
Mhm.
And if any questions turn up, please
Yes.
do email MACFEST, and they'll forward the emails to me, and then I'll be happy to.
You've got a website as well. Somebody asked about your future.
My website, somebody told me yesterday, is down, so I've got to fix it, but I've been so busy.
Okay.
But it's Samir Malik. If you search for Samir Malik art on Instagram or on Facebook, then I usually post most of my stuff on Instagram and Facebook as I create it. Stuff that's meant for the public. I do lots of work for private individuals. I'm doing some now for people who have passed away. So memorial calligraphies, which is a very honorable, sacred thing. And I'm doing
an example of that. Have you got any example of this? What you've done recently to show?
I'm not allowed to show. I mean, with that kind of thing, with stuff I've done for memorials, then the people said, "Look, can we keep this private?" It's just that it's for mothers whose sons have died, and it's for children whose fathers have died. And so they're gonna put it up. And unfortunately, I can't. I really apologize. But if I do find one, then
So we've got only a few minutes. Is there anything you want to show us in terms of your piece of artwork? Amaze us with some more of any of the pictures.
Okay, let me just 1 second. Oops. Yeah. Okay, sorry about this.
No problem. So we've got your Instagram in the chat.
So art is a thing, not a way. This is one of my pieces. Can you see, this is one of the folds that I'm talking about, where it curves in on itself. So this is me experimenting with watercolors and gouache using wide pens. So the pen I use for this is actually, I made from a recovered doorstop I found in Damascus in my friend's shop. So it's a wide piece of wood. I've actually given it away to somebody who's practicing, one of my students. But you can buy pens like this, which are quite wide. And I do make my own pens. So I'll get a piece of wood and I'll cut it and I'll put the angles. So you see the angles that are there.
Yeah.
I'll use that. So this is an example of the colors. I love using colors, because somebody emailed me to say,
that's really nice as well.
Art is the stored honey of the human soul, gathered on the wings of misery and travail. This is what I felt. This is art just lifts us from where life puts us sometimes.
Oh, that was
helps us.
Dreiser, the famous writer, the American writer. Dreiser, yes.
Yeah. This is part of a project I did for myself where I wanted to get quotes about art. And I printed them out for schools. So I gave them out to schools.
Right. And this so is people Maxwell, whose quote is this?
Maxwell Bates. Okay. I'm an artist who for 40 years has stood at the lake edge, throwing stones in the lake. Sometimes very faintly, I hear a splash. And I love that. That made me smile, but I know that feeling.
Gorgeous.
So this is one of my favorites I gave to e-school. Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes, and art is knowing which ones to keep.
Oh, that is.
Yeah. That's a very important one for, you know.
Mm.
So that's where I, you know, all the great pieces I've created, all are mistakes that I've kept. Yeah. But this example of a piece of mine, Noor ala Noor, but I did this. This is a photo, a scan, obviously, but I did it on banana paper using luminescent ink. So this is, you can see how the dots and the width stays the same. That's that one again. Al-Hub.
I love the colors, superb.
Yeah.
There's so much depth, isn't there? Complexity of
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we are. Art is not what you see, but what you make others feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I love working with colors, and this is, yeah. It's just explore, just play, plan to make mistakes, plan to get messy, as long as, you know, nobody's there to tell you off, and just explore.
I've got a question, Samir. This is to
Sure.
do with the ink. What ink is the best to use for calligraphy? And what
For
are
this,
the pens
what
called
I
if you
use,
want to buy them online?
you can use drawing ink or Chinese drawing ink, or India ink is also very, very good. I mean, get ink that's used where people do lots of calligraphy using the bamboo pens. So India ink you can buy online. If you're in the UK, you can contact Jackson's. Just note down Jackson's India ink. Google that, and you get a link to buy it. It's quite reasonable from Jackson's. Very reasonable, actually. I buy by the litre, but normally a little bottle will cost maybe £6. For example, a bottle like this is turquoise ink. That costs £12. But if I bought calligraphy ink, that would be about £6-7. But Jackson's have like a half a litre or a third of a litre for £6. So getting it from there,
Okay. What
I think is a very, sorry.
What about paper? Somebody's asking, Asha.
Very, very good question. Very, very good question. I buy this paper I'm using here. It's 120 GSM. So if you buy slightly thicker paper, you can buy it from your stationery suppliers or online stationery suppliers. I get mine from Amazon. I'm a bit bad that way. I mean, I do buy a lot of stuff from independent suppliers, but paper is so convenient and it's so heavy that it just comes to me. I buy by the ton load when I do workshops. I have stacks and stacks of paper. That's very, very good. Just normal. If you get glossy, that's very, very good as well. But normal matte paper, but that's thicker. Normal paper is 80 GSM, so you need it at least 120. Sometimes with A3 sheets, I go up to 300 GSM, which is like card. But that's all available online. GSM. So if you search for, let's say, 160 GSM A4 paper, then that you should be able to get it quite easily, and that will hold the ink. Let's see if I've got a piece of normal paper. I don't normally have normal paper in the house, but I was going to show you how the ink bleeds through. Oh, here we are. There's a little note from earlier. So it holds it quite well, but it will bleed through. This is 80 GSM.
Samir,
yes.
It's now 7:30. We're having to call it tonight, but we have got two questions. So if quickly,
sure.
Yeah. One is about where can you get bamboo pens, and the second one is lovely question. Who is your favorite calligrapher yourself?
My favorite calligrapher is, there's not one, but all the children I teach calligraphy, because I'm always amazed. They inspire me because they're so alive when they express their art, that they teach me so much. That's why I love doing calligraphy workshops for children. I still do teach art at schools. Okay. So they're my favorites because they're so unrestrained and unafraid to just do something beautiful, crazy, and authentic.
Okay,
bamboo reed pens. I'll send a link to MACFEST, and you can, with all the information on, buy good bamboo reed pens. You can buy them from good garden stores, but make sure you get nice quality ones that are dry. They cost a little bit more.
How do you clean a bamboo pen? Before
you don't. Well, okay, look, I'll show you. I've got some pens here, and what I've got there is a toothbrush.
Right,
I don't normally show people this, but I'll get a bit of, I'll just do
right.
that
Of course
to
you
clean
can.
it. There's an old toothbrush that I use to clean my bamboo reed pens, but I don't usually clean them. If I'm going to use other ink, different inks, I'll run it under a tap. If you get good ones, they should last. I mean, this one I've had for maybe 12 years,
Right.
and
Okay.
I haven't sharpened it again. I haven't cleaned it except
Right.
with a toothbrush a couple of times. So getting good bamboo reed pens, they do last forever.
Thank you so much, Samir. We will have to end there. It's been absolutely amazing event. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my
Your
pleasure.
skill, your paintings, your demonstration, and then answering all our questions. And it's been very relaxing. You're absolutely right. The work you're doing is really relaxing.
Yes, it
Especially
is.
times when you're stressful. It's been fantastic. I want to thank Ed, who also came and
Yeah,
joined
thank
us
you,
as
Ed.
a guest. And Luke for hosting us tonight technically,
Yes.
Hajra for introducing you, and our own team who've been with us, who will hopefully post some pictures on our Twitter, social media. And finally, definitely want to thank all our attendees who have conscientiously stayed with us for 1.5 hours, asked lots of lovely questions, including those joining us from all the way from Canada and other places.
Yes.
So I have written in the chat, we've got many more events like tomorrow, House of Wisdom, History, Islamic Civilization, you name it, we're doing it. That's at 6 o'clock. And then Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, his life and society on Thursday. Saturday, we've got an amazing Berry MACFEST, lots of art and cultural activities. Sunday, we have international artist, Lubna from America, filmmaker for Singapore, actress from Pakistan, writer from Turkey, talking about life during the pandemic, showing us clips. Amazing feast waiting for you lot. And then Azerbaijan Festival the following Saturday. So these are some of the programs. You know where to go to book them. So everybody, thank you so much again for joining us. Goodbye and assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So thank you, Samir, once again. I
Oh,
love
my pleasure.